All right, today we're diving into one of the most epic stories of all time, the Book of Exodus. We're talking about a massive saga of oppression, liberation, and the messy, chaotic, but incredible birth of an entire nation.
So how do you do that? I mean, really, how do you free a whole nation of slaves and then build a country from the ground up? That's the real question driving this whole story. It's not just about the escape, right? It's about what comes after. How do you forge a whole new identity when all you've ever known is bondage? Well, let's get into it.
Okay, so Act 1, the oppression. Our story kicks off in Egypt, generations after the time of Joseph. That small family that first arrived there, well, they've grown a lot, and their success, believe it or not, is about to become a huge problem.
You see this verse here? It's not just some dry census data. For the Egyptians, this population explosion felt like a ticking time bomb right inside their own borders. The Israelites went from being guests to, well, a nation within a nation. And that made some people very, very nervous.
And boom, here's the turning point. A new Pharaoh comes to power, and this guy has no clue about the history with Joseph. He looks at this huge Israelite population and doesn't see a blessing. He sees a threat, a massive national security risk. And it's that fear right there that lights the fuse for everything that's about to happen.
Now, this wasn't just some random act of cruelty. Oh no, this was a calculated, systemic state policy. The plan was to literally break their spirit with brutal, back-breaking labor. But when even that didn't slow their growth, Pharaoh's orders took a terrifying genocidal turn. He commanded that every single newborn Hebrew boy be thrown into the Nile River.
And out of this horrific decree of death, the hero of the story emerges, Moses. And the irony is just staggering. He's saved from the very river meant to kill him, and ends up being raised as a prince in Pharaoh's own house. But his story takes another turn. He kills an Egyptian, flees into exile, and that's where he gets the call from God at a burning bush. And his reaction? It's not some big heroic moment. It's total self-doubt. He literally asks, "Who am I to do this?"
All right, on to Act 2, the confrontation. Fast forward 40 years. Our reluctant hero is coming back, and this time he's got a divine mission, to go toe-to-toe with the most powerful man on the planet. The demand is so simple, but so incredibly bold. Moses doesn't ask for better working conditions, not for rights, but for total and complete release. Now, Pharaoh, who basically thinks of himself as a god, is of course going to say no. And that refusal? It sets the stage for an epic, divine showdown. So what happens next is a series of 10 plagues. And you got to understand, these aren't just random disasters. This is a systematic takedown of Egypt's entire power structure. It starts with their economy. Poof, all the livestock are gone. Then their health, with festering boils. It even challenges their gods, like when a 3-day darkness completely blots out their sun god Ra. Each plague was a direct hit, designed to prove one thing. Pharaoh's power was nothing compared to the god of his slaves. Things get so bad that the pressure starts cracking the regime from the inside. Even Pharaoh's own officials are like, dude, can't you see Egypt is ruined? The whole country is falling apart around them. But Pharaoh's pride is just off the charts. He doubles down, hardens his heart again and again, and just refuses to give in. So we come to Act 3, the liberation. It takes the final, most devastating plague of all, the death of every firstborn in Egypt, for Pharaoh to finally break. He tells them to just get out, and this kicks off the dramatic climax of the entire story. But that freedom lasts for like 5 minutes. Pharaoh changes his mind, surprise, surprise, and sends his entire army after them. We're talking his elite forces, 600 of his best chariots, to drag his slave labor force back. So picture this. The Israelites are completely trapped. The Red Sea is in front of them, and the most powerful army in the world is breathing down their necks from behind. It looks like it's all over.
And the people, understandably, are freaking out. They're screaming that it would have been better to just die as slaves in Egypt. But this is where Moses really steps up. This isn't the same insecure guy from the burning bush. He's a true leader now, a commander. And he tells this terrified, panicking nation to just stand still and watch.
And then comes the miracle, the moment of deliverance. A powerful wind blows all night long, and it literally parts the sea. It creates a path right through the middle on totally dry ground, with these towering walls of water on either side. Can you even imagine seeing that?
As soon as the last Israelite is safely on the other side, those walls of water just collapse right on top of the entire Egyptian army. The threat isn't just stopped, it's completely, utterly annihilated. Their freedom is now a done deal. There's no going back.
Okay, so Act 4, the foundation. They're free. Awesome, right? Well, yeah, but escaping slavery and building a nation are two very different things. This next part is all about that messy, complicated, difficult process of trying to create a society from scratch in the middle of a desert.
And it doesn't take long for the harsh reality of the wilderness to hit them. People start complaining. They actually start romanticizing being slaves because, hey, at least they had food. It sounds crazy, but this is what's called a sleeve mentality. Sometimes the familiar cage of oppression feels safer than the scary wide-open space of freedom. Meanwhile, Moses is just swamped, trying to solve every single argument himself until his father-in-law Jethro steps in with some brilliant advice. You gotta delegate, man. You need to build a system of government.
So at the base of a thundering Mount Sinai, this brand new nation gets its constitution, the 10 Commandments. You have to remember, for people who had only ever lived by the rules of a slave master, this was a complete game changer. It's the moral blueprint for a whole new society, teaching them how to govern themselves.
But you know, a nation needs more than just laws. It needs a heart, a center, and that's where the tabernacle comes in. God gives them the blueprints for this amazing portable sanctuary. Think of it like a mobile capital city. It was way more than just a place of worship. It was the political and social anchor for the whole community. It's where they kept their constitution in the Ark of the Covenant, and it established a priesthood, giving a physical structure to their new identity.
And this next part is just incredible. When they put out the call for donations to build this tabernacle, the people give so much stuff, so generously, that Moses literally has to tell them to stop giving. Just think about that for a second. These are the exact same people who were just complaining they were going to starve. It's a total transformation. They've gone from a grumbling mob to a unified community, all pitching in to build their own future.
So, what does it all come down to? What does it really take to turn a group of freed slaves into a unified nation? Well, the story of Exodus seems to say it takes way more than just a miraculous escape. You have to overcome that slave mentality. You have to build a system of law that teaches people how to govern themselves, and you have to create a central unifying purpose that everyone can be a part of. It's an epic journey from bitter bondage to the tough but incredible work of building a new identity from the ground up.